if your whole Australia plan is based on भाई nursing कर लो, भाई teaching कर लो, PR मिल जाएगी, life set है, then I think you just need to stop, because this is how exactly students end up stuck. Not because nursing and teaching are bad, no, they are not, they're actually good, but because when thousands of students are getting the same advice, they run behind these two particular courses, and the smartness is actually gone and the competition is increased, and now you're just following the crowd. And migration is not just about a crowd game, and this is the first thing that you need to understand if you're thinking to come to Australia. This is where and how students mess up. They think PR strategy is picking up the most famous course. PR strategy actually means that picking up the right occupation. Big difference, right? And today I want to talk about these particular options because people don't know much about them. And let me be really honest, beyond nursing and beyond teaching, these are the other degrees that you can actually get serious about it and get PR easily in Australia. But only if you understand the game properly, not emotionally, not blindly, properly. So let's go forward. Hey guys, hello and welcome back to another video. This is your KapsLock and today we are back with another video. Before starting, let me tell you, this video is specially for Australia, not for Canada, not for UK, not for generic study abroad, any other place. Because Australia has this genuine student test and most students are confused about that from day one. Some people think if you want PR later, you do not say that in the test. Like you need to act innocent, right? Like you have no long-term thinking. The issue is not about that you want PR later, no. The issue is whether your study choice is actually genuine or no. That's what actually matters the most, even from the perspective of the person who's giving you the visa. If your course makes sense, if it matches your profile, if it connects to a real job, then it looks like an actual education decision and not a visa shortcut. And then how you're playing the game properly. That's the difference. And that's why this whole just choose any PR course advice is actually trash. Because the course title is not just about nothing. The degree is not the full strategy. The occupation, the final job that you do is the main strategy. Remember that. Now, before going forward to this video, let me tell you I have two more channels. First, KapsTalks, and second, KapsLock is alive. One is the podcast channel, which I'm posting every week a podcast on different courses, universities, and different topics that you need to know as a student or as a migrant thinking to come to Australia. And for the KapsLock is alive, this channel is mainly for vlogs. The person who know me as I was a vlogger before, they can see the vlogs again as I'm still posting vlogs on this particular channel just as a memory. Now, let's make this very simple. A lot of the students just plan backwards. How? They start with the course brochure. Bad move. Rather, you should start with the occupation. That should be the goal for you always. How? Because Australia migration does not reward a particular degree. Australia actually rewards occupation, shortages, employer demands, state nomination logic, skill assessment, regional study, all of that. If your degree does not lead into a clean particular occupation, then what are you even doing? That's what they ask. You're spending money first and then thinking later, what did I do wrong? And this is the dumbest mistake international student can make, and I don't want you to make if you're watching this video at least. Now let's talk about the options that are actually deserves more attention as a student that you can think of. Before starting, let me tell you, these are the degrees which you most probably find in bachelors, but if you need a video for master's degrees as well, I can make it. Just put a comment in the comment section. First, social work. So this is one of the strongest beyond nursing and teaching option, and almost nobody is talking about it properly. Why? Because it's not flashy. But you know what? Flashy does not guarantee you a PR. Logic actually does. Social work actually sits in a really serious place in Australia. It connects to health, welfare, community need and support systems. And this particular area has real shortages in Australia. And if your particular profile fits into this criteria, then it can be a really great choice for you. Not because it's magic, not because it guarantees anything, but because it has something most weak choices can't have. A believable story, because as you know, this person is going to be able to pay the fees. No. They are actually looking whether this whole plan, your whole profile, your academics, everything matters, yes or no. That's their question. So if you've got a background, interest or values that generally define that you can perform really well in this particular field and connects to more social work, then it becomes a much stronger choice for you than choosing some random business degree or choosing some random other degrees. Next part is medical laboratory science. Now this one is really serious. You need to understand about it. And honestly, I get really annoyed that more people are not talking about it or don't want to talk about it, because this is exactly the kind of degree smart students should look into. Why? Because it gives structure, it's not vague, and it actually leads to a real occupation, which is in the skill occupation list anyway. And that's what you want, a real endpoint, not confusion. Medical laboratory leads to healthcare, diagnostics, pathology type work, technical systems, real industry need. And this is what a strategic degree should look like. Not a degree that sounds nice, a degree that can actually lead you somewhere. And that's the mindset shift students need right now. Don't ask, is this course popular? No. Ask, what occupation does this course create in the future? And this question alone can save people from making stupid mistakes. Another, aligned health degrees. So let's talk about this aligned health. This area can be really strong. Actually, you know what? Very, very strong. But students also mess up this so badly. They hear terms like occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and they think, okay, nice, healthcare means PR. I would say slow down. No, it's not true. That's a lazy thinking. How? Healthcare is not some automatic button. These are real professions, demanding professions. You need to actually be suited to get into these particular fields. And you need to be interested enough to study and thrive in this particular field, because it's not easy. The placements, the work reality, the registration, there's so many things, and you need to be really thriving in that. And yes, aligned health could be a smart choice, but only when the pathway is clean and the student is actually really serious about it. And not for someone who would wear a profession like a costume because a particular agent said it's good for PR. No, please don't do that. These kind of shortcuts looks easy, but they actually destroy lives later, so you don't want it. Another, engineering. Yes, engineering is still one of the best, most rational options that you can go in. It's not a hidden gem, it's not some kind of secret, but it is actually solid. And in migration strategy, I would say solid means trendy, always. Engineering links to infrastructure, construction, systems, utilities, technical problem solving, telecommunication, often broader terms and broader aspects, right? And it has great demand. Always it has great demand. But if you are some type of a person who can handle engineering in a serious long-term way, it's going to be good choice. And again, notice the pattern. Every strong option I'm mentioning right now, it has some kind of real goal that we are trying to achieve. And that's why it actually works better than other degrees. Not just me or any other YouTuber would be screaming, hey, these are the particular degrees in 2026 for best PR. No. These are actually making sense. You can obviously double check and research on them, but trust me, I have checked and they are good options for you. I'm not forcing or pushing you hard to go into these particular fields. No, it's up to you. But I'm just telling you, these are the things, not just those two particular advices in the start I mentioned. Well, anyway, coming to the next part, which is ICT and cyber. Let me be brutally honest here. This is where a lot of the students get delusional. They think technology means easy future. Actually, no. Technological things means competition. Technological means skills. Technological means you actually need to be really perfect and good in that. And yes, ICT and cybersecurity degrees can still make good sense in Australia, but this is not for a student who just want to enter and hide behind these course skill, because otherwise you won't be thriving. Trust me. If you are weak, confused, thinking to go with the shortcuts and not building real capability, then ICT would not be a good choice for you. And just to tell you, ICT means information and communication technology. You will just become another graduate with the degree but won't be able to get the job if you're not pointing your attention into this. And if you are picking this path, you need to back it up really hard, and you need to be studying really hard in this field. Not just because it sounds nice or perfect or it sounds modern. There's a difference between strategy and a fantasy. You need to understand. Now let's come back to the genuine student part, right? Because this is where the fear starts. Students usually think that they have zero migration knowledge and interest. No long-term goals, no future planning. This is not the point. The point is credibility. Your course does need to make sense, and that's it. So a weak student's story would sound like, I chose this course because it has PR. Finished. Over. This actually already sounding bad, right? But a strong student's story would sound like, this is my background. This is what my profession is. This is what I'm building towards. This is what the degree would give me. This is what I'm choosing. That's what my provider makes sense. That's how the location makes sense. That's how the course has a value for me in the future and for the place where I would be working. That's how a strong story sound like. And that's how you actually sound like a student, not just a visa gambler, I would say. And that's a difference. And you know what? People really need to understand this, because Australia is not just checking whether you need to enter or no. They're checking whether your plan holds you and your logic together or no. So your logic has to be right. So let me give you a technical roadmap for choosing good courses for Australia if you're coming as a student. If you want to plan this properly, do these 5 things. First, choose the occupation before the degree, always. Second, check whether the occupation has demand. Not old demand, not YouTube demand, the current actual demand. Look on the website, use AI. Third, understand the route you may be choosing later, realistically. Points tested, employer sponsored, regional, these kind of things you need to know in the mind. Go watch my videos because these are not same thing for every different occupation. They are different. Fourth, check state rule. Yes, this part is actually huge. What works in one state, maybe example Victoria, would not be working in another state, for example Western Australia. And that's how the lazy online advice is actually dangerous, because it's generic, right? And you need to be really specific about the place you're going. And people, or maybe sometimes me, would talk as a person saying Australia is having a flat system. No, every state has a different kind of system. You need to understand this. And the fifth, the most important, check whether the profession you're thinking to has registration, accreditation, or skill assessment issues that would come in the future. Because sometimes students see the degree and ignore the professional barriers that would come after graduation. Then later they might panic. So it's already too late for them, but not for you now. So think on these terms too. Let me say one more uncomfortable point, which is the regional point. A lot of the students are way too obsessed with these metro cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, that's it. Why? Because sometimes image, social media, sometimes they want to go these particular places, sometimes their past has been in the metro cities, they want to stay in the same section. But migration actually does not care about your aesthetics, trust me. It cares about your goals. Regional strategy are or can be smarter for some of the students when they plan properly. I would say a lot smarter. If you're rejecting regional Australia from day one, you're already reducing your own options. Simple. In easy words, simple. You might not be able to liking it. That's the truth. And you know what? Sometimes a student who's more flexible, especially on the location basis, wins better and faster in the long run over the students who want this glamorous postcode kind of life where he or she is living, like Melbourne, Sydney and all. That's reality. So conclusion, what's the whole point of this whole video? Very simple. Stop chasing famous degrees, start chasing credible occupations. And that's the line you need to draw, you need to understand. That's the lesson, that's the strategy as a student you need to follow right now after watching this video. Start researching, because beyond nursing, beyond teaching, there are these bachelor, especially bachelor degrees that can make more sense for you as a student. Social work, medical laboratory science, aligned health, ICT, cyber and engineering. And again, I'm mentioning ICT and cyber only if you're genuinely built for it. But you know what? None of these if your mindset is actually weak. So strong your mindset first, because they're going to be so tough for you. Trust me. Studies are tough, but the occupation and the salary packages and other things are really good in the longer term. And the problem is most of the students are not planning with these logic. But if they are planning with the noise, means one friend said, means one agent said, means one relative said, or maybe a reel that came on the phone which was trending, they are spending lakhs, sometimes crores of rupees, or maybe $100,000 or whatever in these degrees. And that's actually, sorry, but that's called madness if you don't go with the logic. Absolute madness. So strong your mindset, think on this, create logic, plan ahead. So before you start asking yourself which course has PR, no, start instead that which occupation does this degree that I'm going to study leads to. Does that path actually make sense for me and for my PR as well? That's a better question for yourself. And this is a way mature question, I would say. And this one question alone can save you from a really massive mistake that you would do for your future, for your family's future, I would say. Because right now, I can say that Australia is not rewarding just hope. No, they are rewarding logic, credibility, demand, and timing. That's the game. So I hope you understood this video. I hope you understood the points. And I am sorry, I'm not trying to defame or decrease the popularity of any particular degree. No, you can study them still, even it's nursing, even if it's teaching. But I'm just trying to tell you that yes, these are the things you need to understand as a student if you're thinking to come to Australia. Well, anyway, this is KapsLock signing off. Like this video if you liked it. Share this video to a friend who's thinking to come to Australia, or any of your friends who would be thinking to come to Australia even in future. They need to know these logics. And subscribe to the channel for more videos, and you can give me topics on what topics you need videos on. And if you need a similar kind of video only for the master's degrees, if you're thinking to come in Australia for master's degrees, which master degrees would be good, not bachelor ones, let me know in the comment section. I'll make it. For knowing more information about the courses, I have made the KapsTalks podcast channel. I think you should go and watch it, because you will be having, as a student, so much knowledge from that, not just a website or an AI would be able to give, because that has personal experience of the people who are doing these degrees. So like, share and subscribe my other channels. Links are in description. Follow me on social media. Links are in description. See you guys in the next video. Bye.